Hey everyone, welcome back to Reddit Guy. Today we've got another story straight from Reddit. Let's get into it.
Story 1. My late best friend's daughter just asked me to walk her down the aisle and I cannot stop crying. My childhood best friend died 17 years ago in a car accident. We were closer to each other than we were to our own brothers. At the time, he had an 8-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son, and they were both my godchildren. After he died, I stepped up for them. I was there for every big moment in their lives. They loved me and called me uncle. Even when their mom remarried another man, I was still very much involved in their lives. But I never expected anything like this. His daughter is now 25 years old, and she is getting married next May. Last night, she called me and asked if I wanted to have lunch with her. Of course, I accepted. While we were together, she told me she wanted me to walk her down the aisle. I could not believe it. I kept asking her if she was joking, and she said no. She said that both she and her dad would not want any other man to do it. I just broke down crying. I hugged her and told her that I love her very much, and that she and her brother are like my own children, and that I love them both. I told it I would be honored to walk her down the aisle on her big day. I do not have any daughters of my own, just 3 boys, so this will probably be my only time ever walking a bride down the aisle. I could not be any happier. After we left, I actually drove to her dad's grave. I sat there and cried, and I told him I wish he were here to see her. I legitimately cannot be any happier right now. Commenter 1. Well, now I am crying with you. What an honor. Original poster reply. I know, right? I am so blessed. Commenter 2. I open Reddit and the first post I read has me crying. I love this for you. It sounds like you are a really important person to her. Also, I love that the first post I read was super wholesome and lovely. Original poster reply. Well, she is a really important person to me, so it was really nice to know that she cares about me as well. Commenter 3. Please, please, please update us next year. This was such a beautiful post to read. Congratulations. Honoring your best friend and giving away your goddaughter. Make sure to have plenty of tissues for all the tears. Original poster reply. I could not stop crying when she told me about it. I can't even imagine actually doing it. Story 2. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to go and ask to be adopted by the couple she is so obsessed with? My girlfriend, Katie, made a new friend a few months ago named Mary. Katie talked about her a lot. Mary said this, Mary did that, Mary started teaching her something, and so on. I thought it was a bit weird how much Katie seemed to look up to Mary, but I didn't think much of it until Mary's husband, Joe, entered the picture too. From then on, Katie talked about their relationship all the time. How they do things, how they divide chores, how respectful they are to each other. Basically, how they are just the best couple ever. I've met them too, and they are honestly nothing special, maybe even a bit boring. Yesterday evening, Katie was once again going on about them, saying things like Mary and Joe are true soulmates, and theirs is the healthiest relationship she has ever seen, and so on. I had a really long day at work, so I told her I did not want to hear about them. I told her I didn't care about her creepy crush on this random couple, but if she likes them so much, she should go and ask to be adopted by them, or ask if she can be their third. Katie then gave me the cold shoulder and left to go home to her apartment instead of sleeping at my place like she was supposed to. I need to know if I'm right and her obsession is creepy, or if I'm not seeing something correctly and I'm the asshole here. Am I the asshole? Commenter 1. You are the asshole. My friend, she is trying to tell you what she wants out of your relationship without hurting you or making you feel defensive. Commenter 2. While you are not wrong and he is the asshole, she needs to open her mouth and actually say what she wants. All of this hinting and subliminal messaging is not the way to do it, and all it is creating conflict. He is not picking up on hints. All he sees is her constantly fawning over 2 people, and he doesn't get it even after meeting them. If she wants her boyfriend to change, then she needs to lay it out clearly and tell him what she is looking for in a relationship. Commenter 3. You are the asshole. I bet Joe would never tell Mary to shut up. Do you often feel threatened from hearing that other people have their lives together? Mary was talking about her friends. That's a pretty normal conversation. You're taking it personally. Why? Do you think Mary is trying to tell you something? Update. She finally texted me back. She wrote a very long message saying that she had tried everything with me, and she thought that if she was patient and clear about her needs, I would eventually change for her. But she realized, thanks to Mary and Joe, that it's not her job to raise a man or get her boyfriend to respect her. She wrote a lot of other things about Mary, too, like how Mary is truly proud of her husband and looks up to him. Meanwhile, Katie said she can't find it in herself to look up to me in anything, and so on. So yeah, I hope you all are happy. You got what you wanted. Commenter 1. So yeah, I hope you all are happy. It's always the same types of people who sign off their posts like this. They will never admit they were the one in the wrong and will always believe the world is out to get them. Commenter 2. I remember warning someone before they headed out for the day that it was probably going to rain, so they should plan around that. He told me there was no way it was going to rain. So it rained, and he was not prepared at all and got soaked. When I saw him next, he said, with venom, "Well, I hope you are happy." Like, I don't really care either way, but if you don't want basic advice, then fine. Same energy as this guy. Commenter 3. He truly thinks it rained because of you and that you have superpowers and secretly used them to punish him. He's a victim. He's always right.
Story 3. Am I the asshole for telling the guy I'm dating that he will never meet my parents? I'm a 22-year-old woman, and I started dating my coworker Josh, who is 28, about 3 months ago. We get along great, and we are on the same team at work, so we basically spend all of our shifts together or on Teams calls. We also see each other on our days off to go eat somewhere and spend the night at his place. It is always just the two of us, and occasionally some colleagues from work who know we're dating. Since we became a thing, he has always made it very clear that he wants a casual relationship and that I am not his girlfriend and he is not my boyfriend. We do not post each other on social media or interact with each other's friends' circles. This arrangement works great for me, as I am also not looking for someone I have to post on my stories or take with me to my cousin's wedding or anything like that. The issue started this past week when I was discussing some family drama with him and one of our mutual work friends. I was talking about how my parents are very conservative, especially regarding dating and marriage, and how, unlike my cousins, I have never introduced my parents or the rest of my family to anyone I have ever dated. I also said I never planned to unless I knew I was going to marry them. Our friend joked that my parents would hate Josh since he has a bunch of tattoos and piercings and a general bad boy vibe. Josh replied something like, "Your mom is not really like that, right? She would not kick me out of the house if she saw my tattoos and my bike." I honestly thought he was joking, and I said he should not worry about it because he will never meet her anyway. As soon as I said that, he dropped his smile and I felt the room tense up. I guess our friend noticed too because she made an excuse and left. I was left alone with him. I tried to ask him what was wrong or if something had happened, but he kept saying everything was fine and then left saying he was late for a coaching session or something. Since then, he's been really dry with me both in person and over text. After a few days, he told me it was hurtful to hear me say that as if I was something I wanted to hide, especially since I have met his parents already. I do not really see the problem. His parents are much more open-minded than mine, and he always tells them I am the girl he is seeing, not his partner and not his girlfriend. I have explained my reasoning for not wanting to do the same with my family, but he keeps saying it's unfair from his point of view. Edit or update. Before I met Josh, I had applied for a visa to study abroad. He knew about this and even took me to some appointments at the embassy. I just found out the visa got approved and I will be going to Europe for at least 6 months. We sat down and talked about what each wanted out of a relationship, but ultimately, me being away for several months would make it impossible to sustain a romantic relationship, casual or not, at least in both of our opinions. So we decided to remain friends as we were before we became intimate or romantically involved.
It may not be the mature or right decision for some of you, but I do consider him a great person and would like to keep him in my life, even if we are not a good match romantically. Commenter 1. Not the asshole. He cannot have a casual relationship and a serious relationship at the same time. Commenter 2. He cannot keep telling you it is casual and that you are not his girlfriend, then get upset when you don't treat him like he is your boyfriend. Commenter 3. Not the asshole. It seems like he did not expect just casual to go both ways. He probably thought you liked him way more than you do, and realizing you see him as friends with benefits hurt his ego. Story 4. Am I the asshole for deciding to live with my dad because I'm tired of fighting with my mom and the expectation to always make things fair or save experiences for my half-siblings? My parents had me when they were in college, and they broke up before I was even born. I'm a 16-year-old girl. Both of my parents have played an active role in my life, and they shared 50-50 custody of me until a few months ago, when I decided I wanted to live with my dad and pull back from my mom and my stepfamily. For years, my mom and I fought during about 90% of the weeks I stayed with her. I hated sharing a room with two of my half-sisters, and my mom hated that I hated sharing. She would tell me lots of kids share rooms, and she would ask why I was fine with sleepovers at my friends' houses, but not with sharing a room with my half-sisters. We fought about my dad buying me things and me keeping them at his house instead of bringing them to share with my half-siblings. We fought if I went anywhere with my dad without inviting my half-siblings or checking to see if my mom and stepdad wanted to take us all there first. Even a trip to the beach became a huge deal. She always said I should make sure things were fair between me and my half-siblings. In the last 4 years, the fights got worse because my dad would take me and my friends places for my birthday. This year, it was Aquatica. My mom was furious that my half-siblings were not invited, but my friends were. I didn't want my half-siblings, I wanted my friends. My half-siblings are younger than me and my friends, and they are not my dad's kids. He doesn't have a relationship with them, and it would make the day miserable. It was supposed to be my birthday. The final fight happened when I bought a room divider so I could have privacy in the room at my mom's house. She went nuts and told me I should have asked permission and checked if my half-sisters were okay with it first. I told her I deserved privacy. She told me I did not deserve it when I act like it's torture to be in the same room as my half-sisters. She said the room situation was meant to make us closer and that I was trying to wall them off. She called me a brat. She told me I knew what my dad's house was like and how selfish I am to hoard stuff there. She didn't say how she knew. She grounded me for a month. I told her I was done and that I was going to live with my dad. She said I couldn't and that it would disrupt the household too much. I told her it was going to happen eventually anyway because I'm not going to share a room with kids when I'm over 18. Our court order already states that I can choose where to live once I'm 16. I'm glad to live with my dad full-time. I have seen my mom 3 times in the last 4 months. I do not stay overnight. The one time I went over for dinner, I left before it was served and told her I wasn't coming back. She says I'm making childish decisions with my teenage brain and destroying relationships. I told her I don't care because I don't. Am I the asshole?
Story 5. Am I the asshole for not wanting a relationship with my parents now that they've cut me off? I'm a student. My parents earn enough money that when I applied for student finance and my maintenance loan, I was told I could only receive the minimum amount, just over £3,000 a year. Student finance is calculated based on what your parents earn with the assumption that they will help you financially. I'm on a high-intensity course, and I wasn't sure how I would balance studying and working. When I found out I would only get the minimum loan, I told my parents I wanted to either take a year off to save up and then go to my first-choice university a year later, or go to my second-choice university immediately because I wouldn't be able to afford living in the city where my first choice is located. My parents then told me they would pay my rent if I went to my first-choice university on schedule. They set me up in a studio flat, so all I needed was a part-time job to cover food and bills. On February 18th, my 20th birthday, they called me and said that I was relying on them too much and needed to learn what the real world was like by earning my own money. They said they would cover my rent and phone bill for that month only until the end of February, and after that, I was on my own. They told me they were still my parents, that they loved me, and that they wanted to stay in touch. This was just about me learning independence. I begged them to reconsider, but they ended the call. That meant I had 11 days' notice that I would have no flat and no phone. I begged my university for emergency housing, but they said without proof I had been cut off, they couldn't help me. I emailed my parents asking them to write a letter confirming they had cut me off so I could sort out student finance and emergency housing. They refused. I asked my workplace if I could take on more hours, but due to my contract, I couldn't work more than I already was, so I started looking for a second job. I'm currently sleeping on a friend's sofa until a place I can afford becomes available, and because I still don't have proof that I've been cut off, student finance likely won't help me either, which means I may have to drop out this summer. Today, I received a Facebook message from my parents saying they were disappointed that I didn't call on my mom's birthday a few days ago and that I hadn't given them my new phone number yet. I replied explaining my current situation and told them I no longer wanted a relationship with them. Since then, I've received a lot of messages from them and from my brothers asking me to reconsider. My friend says I shouldn't feel bad, but I feel incredibly guilty and like a spoiled brat. I don't love my family for their money, I love them because they're my family, but at the same time, they've really screwed me over. So, am I the asshole for not wanting a relationship with them? Comments. Commenter 1. Not the asshole. Your parents royally screwed you over. You had 2 separate plans to afford university on your own, and they told you they would help if you went to your first choice. Cutting you off with almost no warning is completely unfair. I don't blame you for not wanting a relationship with them after this. Commenter 2. It's obvious, isn't it? They know what they're doing is wrong and don't want to admit to being horrible people. These are the kinds of parents who would send their child away for being gay or pregnant outside of wedlock just to protect their reputation. Original posters reply. Send their kid away for being gay. Funny story, that's apparently what my brothers told them, so yeah, they said it in a very roundabout way where they didn't actually confirm in writing that they cut me off, but combined with my message asking why they did it, it should be enough. Commenter 3. My mind is blown. The irony that the person taking you in is the very person they're punishing you for is unreal. Please give your roommate a big hug. If I were her, I might think this was somehow my fault. Make sure she knows this is about your family being awful, not her. Original posters reply. I'm a bit of a mess right now, so she's been doing most of the hugging, but I've made it very clear that this isn't her fault at all. She's also said she can stay as long as she needs, and she's offered to put in a good word for me at her workplace so I can hopefully save up. Update. I messaged my parents asking why they cut me off and said the least they could do was explain why they were okay with leaving me homeless. They responded. The friend I'm staying with is an out and proud lesbian. There are maybe 2 posts about me on her social media. One is a group photo of us studying in the library, and the other is from a couple of days before my birthday when she posted a photo of me from lunch and jokingly referred to me as Princess in the caption. My brothers showed this to my parents and told me I was lesbian and that was my girlfriend. So now I have proof that they cut me off, proof that they're homophobic, and confirmation that they can and will turn on me instantly. I also now know that my brothers, who are older and still living with my parents, lied out of jealousy. They didn't tell me this outright because they hoped I'd figure it out, which is impressive considering it's not even true. Apparently, there was still enough affection to expect a birthday call from my mom, but not enough to stop them from completely destroying my life. I've sent screenshots to the emergency housing team at my university, though I've been warned that for something called emergency housing, the process is extremely slow. My friend has said I can stay as long as she needs. Their reply didn't explicitly say, "We cut you off because," but given the context, it should be enough evidence.
I sent my parents screenshots showing that my brothers admitted to lying. They were very apologetic, but that doesn't change anything. Since my brothers still live with them, I hope they're all very happy together. I'm never talking to any of them again. I'm changing the focus of my studies for third year to subjects I actually want to do, not what my parents wanted me to do. This gives me a much better chance of getting a work placement since it's a less popular field. If I get the placement, I'll spend my third year working full-time and earning money, then return to my studies afterward. If that doesn't work and I can't get help from student finance or the university, I'll defer my third year and work full-time for a year. My friend has said I can stay with her as long as needed, and if things work out, we plan to move in together next year. I don't think I'm the asshole anymore, so I'll probably take this post down. I might not be straight. I'm still figuring that out, and I don't have the capacity to deal with it right now. I never told anyone because I knew my parents were homophobic, so my brothers might have thought they were lying, but they might also have been accidentally right, which is unfortunately very on brand for them. Update 2. Here's how everything turned out. I didn't get emergency housing from the university. I'm still living with my friend. She got me a job at her workplace and refuses to take rent from me, so I repay her by buying food and cooking dinner. We're planning to move in together this summer. My parents did a complete 180 and now desperately want forgiveness, but they still refuse to sign a letter confirming they cut me off, which means student finance is still an issue. They've offered me my truck back, so I'll be going with friends to collect it and some of my belongings. My tutor wrote a letter for student finance, which might be accepted. My course changes were approved, and it looks like I got my work placement. I'll be adding an extra year to my studies, but I'll be earning money and gaining experience. Everything worked out as realistically as it could. Thank you to everyone who commented. Your advice helped more than you know. I'll also be booking a session with Campus Mental Health Services because this situation has really shown me just how messed up my family dynamic is. Thanks again.
This brings us to the end of our story. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe.